Welcome to Martial Mastery Media, the channel where we explore the deep roots, hidden origins, and combat philosophies behind the world's greatest warriors and martial arts systems. If you're passionate about the evolution of fighting traditions, the legends of ancient combat, and the warriors who shaped history, you've found your home. Before we begin, make sure you subscribe to Martial Mastery Media and hit the notification bell so you never miss an episode. Don't forget to like this video and share it with your friends, family, and fellow martial artists. Your support helps keep warrior history alive. After watching, check out our growing catalog of videos covering samurai martial arts, Shaolin monks, ninjas, Muay Boran, Ju-jitsu, Viking combat, and more. And if you enjoy mysteries beyond martial arts, visit our sister channels. Galactic Secrets, exploring space, time, and extraterrestrial mysteries. Myths Through Time, uncovering ancient gods, legends, and mythological worlds. Links to both are in the description below. Thank you for being a part of the martial mastery community. Now, let's dive into the world of Japan's warrior monks. The Sōhei. 1. Origins of the Sōhei. Why warrior monks emerged in Japan. The rise of the Sōhei did not occur suddenly. It was the result of centuries of political pressure, religious rivalry, and shifting power structures across Japan. By the late Heian period, Buddhist temples were no longer simply places of spiritual retreat. They were massive institutions owning land, running schools, maintaining armies of servants, and collecting their own taxes. Enryaku-ji on Mount Hiei, overlooking the capital Kyoto, became one of the most influential institutions in the nation, serving as the headquarters of the Tendai sect. Likewise, the powerful Kofuku-ji temple, aligned with the Fujiwara clan, held vast estates and wielded immense political influence. These temples operated almost like independent kingdoms. They had their own legal systems, their own economic networks, and their own complex hierarchies of monks, administrators, and laborers. As these temples gained wealth and territory, conflicts naturally arose, not only with rival Buddhist sects, but also with aristocratic clans who tried to manipulate religious authority for political advantage. Bandits roamed the countryside, raiding temple land and threatening pilgrims. Rival temples burned each other's buildings, kidnapped priests, and fought over doctrinal disputes. In this chaotic environment, temples could no longer rely on imperial guards or hired warriors to enforce their authority. They needed defenders who were loyal to the temple, disciplined, and spiritually motivated. Thus, monks began to train in arms to protect their land and their faith. These armed monks became known as Sōhei, warrior monks whose existence symbolized the fusion of spiritual devotion and military necessity. Over time, the Sōhei grew into powerful armies, often numbering thousands, and played a dominant role in the political landscape of medieval Japan. Training and discipline. The making of a warrior monk. To become a Sōhei required an extraordinary blend of spiritual dedication and martial skill. Daily life for a warrior monk began long before sunrise. They awoke to the sound of temple bells, gathering for morning meditation and recitation of sutras. These practices were not merely symbolic. They built unwavering focus, emotional discipline, and mental clarity, allowing monks to maintain composure even in the heat of battle. Their spiritual training reinforced their belief that they were protectors of the Dharma, warriors whose duties transcended worldly ambition. Yet as soon as the spiritual rituals concluded, their martial training began. On the steep slopes of Mount Hiei, monks engaged in demanding physical conditioning, sprinting up narrow trails, performing endurance exercises, and practicing balance and footwork on rocky terrain. Weapon training was equally intense. Under experienced instructors, monks drilled with the naginata, perfecting fluid cuts, sweeping motions, and coordinated formations. They studied staff combat, learning to use the rokushakubo for striking, blocking, and controlling space. Archery practice took place on hidden platforms along forest trails or within temple courtyards, where monks mastered both long-distance accuracy and rapid-fire skirmishing. Sword training existed but was secondary. The monks' primary weapons were those most effective in the environments they controlled. What truly set the Sōhei apart, however, was their ability to fight as a unified group, rather than as individual warriors seeking personal glory. They moved as a coordinated force, often overwhelming opponents with disciplined formations and tactical precision. This discipline, combined with their spiritual training, created warriors capable of remarkable bravery and resilience. Weapons and techniques. The fighting style of the Sōhei. The Sōhei's combat style was shaped by the unique geography of temple complexes and the nature of the battles they fought. Their iconic weapon, the naginata, became deeply associated with their identity. Its curved blade and long wooden shaft allowed warrior monks to fight effectively against mounted samurai, giving them reach and leverage on uneven terrain. The naginata was ideal for the dense forests and narrow mountain paths around major temples, where cavalry charges were impossible and infantry fights were chaotic. Monks used the naginata for slicing, pushing, sweeping, and controlling groups of attackers, making it the perfect defensive weapon. The staff, however, was equally essential. The rokushakubo, a 6-foot staff made of hardwood, offered both offensive and defensive capabilities. It could be used to strike, block arrows, intercept swords, and knock opponents from horseback. In close quarters, monks wielded shorter staves, such as the konbo, a heavy club often reinforced with metal. Archery, too, played a central role in temple defense. From elevated temple walls or hidden positions in the mountains, Sōhei archers could rain arrows on invading troops long before they approached the main buildings. Swords were less commonly used by warrior monks, reserved mostly for leaders or elite fighters. Their combat philosophy prioritized practicality and formation-based fighting, rather than individual swordsmanship. In rare cases, monks also wielded ritual implements, such as shakujo staffs, metal-topped poles with rings that produced a distinctive jingling sound. Meant to ward off spirits, they became symbols of spiritual authority in battle, blending sacred and martial imagery. The Sōhei's techniques were defensive, disciplined, and strategic, emphasizing territorial control and the protection of sacred spaces rather than heroic dueling. The Sōhei in battle, major conflicts and historical impact. Throughout Japan's medieval period, the Sōhei played pivotal roles in some of the most dramatic conflicts in the nation's history. During the 11th and 12th centuries, temple armies frequently marched into Kyoto to protest government decisions, intimidate rival sects, or demand political reforms. These marches were not subtle displays of force. Thousands of warrior monks descended from the mountains carrying mikoshi, sacred portable shrines. Because harming a mikoshi was believed to invoke divine punishment, government officials were reluctant to resist, often yielding to temple demands to avoid spiritual scandal. The Sōhei became even more influential during the Genpei War, the legendary conflict between the Taira and Minamoto clans. At the First Battle of Uji in 1180, warrior monks from Miidera and Uji Temple famously tore up the planks of the Uji Bridge to slow the advancing Taira army. This action became one of the most celebrated moments in Japanese war history, showcasing the monks' tactical awareness and loyalty to their alliances. Monks continued to fight in various skirmishes throughout the war, supporting both sides at different times depending on political alliances and sectarian loyalties. As samurai warlords rose in power during the Kamakura and Muromachi periods, tensions between temples and the warrior class intensified. Many temples resisted samurai attempts to control their lands, leading to prolonged conflicts. The Sōhei remained a formidable force until the 16th century, when Oda Nobunaga, determined to consolidate power, launched a brutal campaign against religious military factions. In 1571, he ordered the complete destruction of Enryaku-ji. His forces burned the entire mountain complex, killing thousands of monks, priests, women, and children. The massacre marked the end of the Sōhei as a major military force, but their legacy continued to influence the culture and martial traditions of Japan. Philosophy of the warrior monk, reconciling religion and war. To understand the Sōhei, one must grasp the complex spiritual worldview that guided them. Although Buddhism emphasizes non-violence, the Sōhei believed that defending sacred teachings justified force. They saw themselves as guardians of the Dharma, responsible for preserving spiritual purity and protecting the people who depended on temple institutions. This mindset mirrors similar traditions in other parts of the world, such as the Shaolin monks in China and the Knights Templar in medieval Europe, where spiritual devotion intersected with martial responsibility. Sōhei doctrine taught that fighting in service of Buddhist principles could be seen as a form of compassion, preventing greater suffering by confronting evil or defending the innocent. Their spiritual practice strengthened their martial mindset. Long hours of meditation honed their concentration. Chanting sutras cultivated discipline. The study of Buddhist philosophy instilled moral clarity and purpose. This fusion of warrior discipline and spiritual depth shaped later Japanese martial philosophy. Samurai who trained in Zen Buddhism adopted similar mental practices, emphasizing tranquility in combat. Over time, these ideas formed the basis of Bushido, the samurai code of honor, and later influenced modern martial arts such as Kendo, Kyudo, and Aikido, all of which emphasize spiritual development alongside physical technique. Legacy of the Sōhei. Impact on martial arts and Japanese culture. Despite the destruction of their military power, the spirit of the Sōhei continues to influence Japan profoundly. Naginata Jutsu schools preserve techniques that evolved from centuries of temple warfare, while traditional Bojutsu retains methods once practiced on the slopes of Mount Hiei. Many modern martial arts emphasize mental focus, spiritual grounding, and disciplined practice, values deeply rooted in the Sōhei tradition. Their legacy also extends into Japanese political and cultural identity. The dramatic stories of warrior monks resisting samurai tyrants appear in historical chronicles, such as the tale of the Heike and the Taiheki, shaping national memory for generations. In modern popular culture, the image of the stoic, battle-hardened monk appears frequently across anime, manga, films, and video games. Characters modeled after Sōhei are portrayed as calm, yet formidable warriors capable of extraordinary feats of discipline and martial skill. Beyond entertainment, historical reenactments, museum exhibitions, and academic studies continue to explore the significance of the Sōhei in shaping Japan's martial, religious, and political landscapes. Their existence reminds us that the boundaries between spirituality and warfare are not always clear-cut, and that devotion, conviction, and discipline can shape warriors as profoundly as swords and armor. Call for action. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the history of Japan's warrior monks, be sure to subscribe to Martial Mastery Media and hit the notification bell so you never miss an episode. Like this video and share it with friends, family, and fellow martial artists. Help us grow the Martial Mastery community. Explore our catalog of videos on martial arts history, techniques, legendary warriors, and combat systems from across the world. And don't forget to check out our sister channels, Galactic Secrets and Myths Through Time. Links are in the description. Thank you for supporting Martial Mastery Media. Your passion keeps warrior history alive.